Welcome to the Stateless Standard, where we raise a torch of bright light against the fog of statist lies. Here we don't bow to the latest globalist hysteria. We cut through it with Austrian economics, libertarian class analysis, and a healthy dose of cynicism. In today's episode, we dissect the CO2 climate hoax. Look, climate change isn't about saving the planet. It's about control, debt, and transferring wealth from the productive working class to the powerful elite who print the money and dictate the narrative. The United Nations and their Davos cronies have spent decades screaming that CO2 is the devil. The story? Human emissions are cooking the planet, and only massive government intervention, net zero by 2050, carbon taxes, green mandates, can save us. Sounds noble. But scratch the surface, and you find the fingerprints of central bankers and their globalist masters. CO2 isn't a pollutant. It's invisible, odorless, and essential to all life. It's plant food. Photosynthesis depends on it. More CO2 in the atmosphere has greened the earth, boosted crop yields, and made deserts bloom. Thousands of scientists, now over 2,000 signatories to the Clintel World Climate Declaration, agree there is no climate emergency. Warming happens naturally and slowly. CO2 is not the dominant driver. The models the UN relies on are junk science, cooked up to justify control. Even Patrick Moore, who co-founded Greenpeace and ran its Canadian branch for years, calls it fake science. The whole climate crisis is not only fake news, it's fake science, he says. You don't have a plan to feed 8 billion people without fossil fuels. He's right. The narrative isn't about the environment, it's about power. Why the hoax? Follow the money. The same central banking cartel that gave us fiat inflation, endless wars, and debt slavery now needs a new pretext to expand control. Enter the climate crisis. It justifies global technocracy, carbon taxes that hit the working class hardest, subsidies that enrich crony corporations, and debt-fueled green infrastructure that balloons government borrowing. Who profits? The same bankers who own the printing presses. The people pay the bill in higher energy prices, lost jobs, and eroded sovereignty. Look at Germany, the poster child for this madness. Angela Merkel's government chased carbon neutrality with wind and solar, phasing out nuclear and coal. Result? The world's most expensive electricity. Energy costs 7 to 9 times higher than natural gas. Industry is fleeing. Hundreds of thousands of jobs gone. Windmills rot after 20 years, creating mountains of unrecyclable waste. And they need vast amounts of concrete and rare earths, produced with fossil fuels. It's economic suicide dressed as virtue. The green economy isn't green. Mining for lithium, cobalt, and rare earths for EV batteries and solar panels devastates land and water in places like China and Chile. Toxic leach fields scar the earth. EVs? Their full life cycle emissions, mining, manufacturing, charging on coal-heavy grids, are often worse than diesel cars. The well-to-wheel efficiency is pathetic, around 37%. Yet the state forces them on us while subsidizing the corporations that build them. The EU leads the charge to remain neutral by 2050. The US, Canada, Australia, same script. All this requires trillions in new debt. Who lends that money? The central banks and their cartel. The productive class gets taxed to death to pay interest on money created out of thin air. It's the ultimate wealth transfer, from workers to bankers, from the people to the powerful. The UN's 1992 Rio Summit birthed the Climate Treaty Framework. The World Economic Forum and their Great Reset cheerleaders love it. They call it sustainability. We call it corporate communism with a green mask. Renewables can't scale. The energy return on investment is too low. Wind and solar are intermittent, unreliable, and require fossil fuel backup. The math doesn't add up, never has. Politicians won't admit it. They're bought, paid, or too cowardly to challenge the orthodoxy. The media, controlled by the same interests, amplifies the fear. Young people are brainwashed into thinking they're saving the world by freezing in the dark and paying more for everything. It's a con. The real environmental damage comes from mining for green tech, not from CO2. The real crisis is energy poverty, deindustrialization, and the loss of freedom. Fossil fuels lifted billions out of poverty. Denying them condemns the global poor to misery. If this torch has lit a spark of skepticism, subscribe to the Stateless Standard for more unfiltered truth. Like and share to spread the light. Comment below. How much longer will the productive class tolerate this green scam? Until next time, keep questioning the overlords, the people against the powerful. Liberty endures. Stay free.